What's up guys, today we're playing some Simic Ritual featuring Essence Flux and Quantum Riddler. So Quantum Riddler has quietly made its way into this deck. It's the new modern all-star, seeing play in Jeskai Blink, seeing play in pretty much any deck that can play it. It's like the new consigned to memory now. So we're trying it in this deck, and then we've also added Essence Flux. So in this version, we're getting rid of Shardless Agent, and we're replacing it with Essence Flux. So Essence Flux is basically the blue ephemerate, except it doesn't have rebound, so definitely not as good. The +1/+1 counters are irrelevant, so it's just a worse ephemerate. There's a few upsides to playing this card. So the first thing is that we can warp Quantum on turn 3, and then we cast Flux on Riddler, and then it gets to stick around and we draw an extra card. The second thing is that it's blue, so you definitely want to play a lot of blue cards because we have Subtlety, we have Force and Negation. It's not completely irrelevant. And then the third thing that's cool with Flux is that we can blink our manifest tokens. So imagine you manifest a Riddler, instead of having to pay 5 mana to flip it, you can just cast Flux on it, flip it for 1 mana, and you have a 1 mana Riddler. So that's the new tech we're running with in this list. Other than that, the deck is pretty stock overall. Again, we're sad we're getting rid of the Shardless, but we get to try it without it. And by not having Shardless, we don't have to worry about our sideboard. So moving on to our sideboard, we have 4 Consigned to Memory and 3 Stern Scolding. So these are 1-drops that would typically get hit by Shardless Agent, but because we don't have it anymore, we don't have to worry about that. Consigned to Memory is good against Eldrazi and some combo decks. Stern Scolding is really necessary because we just get destroyed by Izzet Prowess, which is a popular deck right now. It also hits Boros and any other small creature decks. We have 3 Dispute for blue decks, Force for combo decks, Harbinger for greedy mana bases, Force of Figure for artifacts and enchantments, and then a 3rd Endurance for graveyard decks. So that's just a quick overview of Simic Midrange featuring the new Quantum Riddler Essence Flux package. Before we get into the video, I want to quickly talk to you guys about becoming a YouTube channel member. You'll get access to a lot of cool perks like loyalty badges, cool emotes, and early access to videos like this one. Also, we are a Mana Traders content creator, so if you want to save up to 25% on your first subscription, all that information is in the description below. Also, we do deck techs, so if you have a cool idea for a new deck, feel free to reach out and maybe we can play it on the channel. So if you want to see more modern content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and let's get in the gameplay. Alright, welcome to match 1 on the play. This hand is not the greatest. We have 1 land, 1 sink, Flux that's not doing anything, Birthing Ritual with no creatures other than Endurance. I'm gonna mulligan this. You could maybe Surveil on turn 1 looking for something. Alright, this is kind of the same hand. We're definitely going to keep. Put back Flux. I think I'd rather put back Flux than a second Birthing Ritual. It's close, because maybe we draw... what's it called? But maybe they counter this or destroy this. We're going to want to Surveil. Maybe get a creature. We could have definitely kept that first hand on the back of a Surveil. We'll just play the Misty and, again, looking for a creature. Witch Blessed Meadow, untapped, into Guide of Souls. Yeah, let's fetch. I mean, I'd like to Surveil here, but I'm just going to kill this now. Just use our mana. Oh, there's a Coiling Oracle. So we'll play that. We have Flare, so we can always do something with that, and then we'll pass. Draw an Ice Fang, which is good. I'd rather not have to use Flare, so that way Birthing Ritual is something. I'm going to let this go. I really want Birthing Ritual into Oracle. We draw an Oculus, not ideal. Play the Ritual. No attacks. Birthing Ritual triggers, we find an Oculus. So rewarded. So upkeep, get a Flare. So are we ever going to counter something sacking Oculus? Probably not. Arbiter, ooh, I love it. See if they have the Ghost Quarter. No plays, okay. So this is just mono white taxes, pretty cool. A second Oculus is terrible. So we're going to cycle Ice Fang, looking for a land. Find another Flare, okay. Get in with both. Yeah, these are terrible draws and we haven't hit a land drop, but hopefully Ritual can save us here. We find Quantum Riddler, Subtlety. We're gonna say no. We could sack. The only thing we could have sacked was like Oculus, but obviously we're not gonna do that for Subtlety. And we can just hold this open for Flare. We do find another Ice Fang, which is nice. So we're hoping that they don't draw like a Ghost Quarter. Here's White Orchid Phantom. We're going to counter that. And we're countering it because 1, we don't want that on the battlefield, but 2, it pairs well with the Arbiter. And it's just a Strip Mine. Alright, and they're over it. Cool. So we both got stuck on 2 lands, but we happen to find an Oculus after drawing 2. Alright, so we definitely want these Stern Scolding against taxes. They have Guide of Souls. They're probably like a Guide Pride, Lean and Arbiter deck. Definitely want these. Probably taking out Force. Maybe we want the second Harbinger. They're going to be a like heavy Plains deck, but this will get rid of the Ghost Quarters and Field of Ruins. Endurance, maybe not so much. I'm going to try that. Alright, game 2, and we're going to keep this hand. A little awkward with the tap mana here, but we can hold up in Stern Scolding for turn 2 play. They don't just bolt in and go Guide of Souls. Oh, that's huge. Okay. So that gives us a window. Riddler. We're going to play Delta and pass. Look, the Stern Scolding, their turn 2. If not, we can always Surveil. White Orchid Phantom. Do we care about this? Do they have Ephemerates is the question. Because they can't target the Delta. I'm going to say no. I'm going to let this go. So they target the Delta, and then in response, we're just going to fetch and get a Hedge Maze. Essence Flux. Ooh, I think I want that. We have the Riddler in hand already. So by fetching, it cancels out this interaction. But they can always ephemerate if that's kind of what their goal is. So let's play the Hedge Maze, because it's another tap land. Sink. It is a land, sort of. I'm going to bin it, because we're going to draw a bunch with Quantum. And we're going to look to either pitch Oculus here, Stern Scolding, something. It is a clock, but it's a slow one. And once we get Riddler on the field, no plays. Interesting. Upkeep. Ooh, they do have the Ephemerate. All right, that's fine. We'll float, get a basic. So it does kind of take us off tempo a little bit, but it's not the biggest deal. Let's bolt this in, cast Oracle. We're going to tap out of Stern Scolding, but assuming Subtlety is going to be fine. Maybe this finds a land. Does not. So that's one reason to counter the Orchid Phantom. So now they get to blow up another one. Which again, we have a bunch of basics, so it's not the biggest deal. And as long as they don't have, what's it called in play? Cat Jesus. 3 mana. Archon. Let's pitch Ice Fang here. We're going to Subtlety this. Next turn we can Essence Flux Quantum. Another basic. Not really what we want to see, just based off of them doing all this. But it's nice because we can hold up Stern Scolding. Actually, we can't hold up Stern Scolding because we've drawn 2 basic forced. They put Archon on the bottom anyway, but do we want to play around Evoke Solitude? We also shouldn't have played a land for turn if we were going to do this play. That was the mistake. That was the first mistake. I think I'm just going to cast Birthing Ritual, and then I'm going to Birthing Ritual away the Oracle, holding up Stern Scolding. I think it's important to hold this up. They bottomed that, so I feel like they have more. We find Ice Fang and Harbinger. We're going to just take the Ice Fang, get that card draw. Another Subtlety is really good. And this does have Death Touch, but this does have First Strike, so it doesn't really matter. Arbiter, Stern Scolding. Do they get in? They do. And they pass. Flare is really good. So now we have Quantum Flux. I think we're just going to Oculus, hold open. I think just hard casting this should be good enough. And we're going to tap like this to keep this open. So we have Flare Denial if they try to Solitude. There's the Solitude. So we're just going to flare this instead of Essence Fluxing here, because if we flicker this, they could Ephemerate it. They pitched an Archon. Is their last card Ephemerate? We also want the Essence Flux for the Riddler, I think. We can almost hardcast it at this point. We're just going to let this go, and we'll Essence Flux this. I think Flare is more important. They also stacked it, so that way this goes away before it's targeted. They do have it. Okay, so because they stacked it incorrectly, we're actually saved. So this is going to happen. They're going to target Ice Fang, and we're just going to Essence Flux here. So we correctly assumed that they might have had this, but because they stacked it in a weird way, because their last card was Ephemerate, and we didn't counter that, so it can come back and kill this. Let's see. Yeah, I think we messed that up, actually. We are going to get a creature out of it, but they are going to have the Ephemerate rebound, and we're going to gain 5. So we should have just countered it. That just would have been the smarter play. So we'll still gain 5, but it's funny too, because we talked through that entire line, and then just totally forgot about the rebound. Ooh, Flicker Wisp. I think we pitch here just because we have the Quantum Riddler. This isn't the biggest deal, but I don't mind going down some cards. We definitely went from being really far ahead to just kind of throwing that. They put it back on top. Get him for 2. An Oculus. Not really what we wanted. So let's warp, draw 2 more. Dismember's nice. Breeding Pool, 1, 2, 3, 4. Play this tapped. Get him for 2. Then we'll stack it with Birthing Ritual first. This finds an Oculus. Or another Riddler, actually. So do we want the Riddler or the Oculus? I feel like the Oculus just, the body's better, and it just makes more. So we'll sacrifice this Riddler. What would you guys take here? They have 0 cards in hand. I feel like Oculus just goes a bit wider. And we have the Dismember, just in case they draw like Ephemerate or something. So we find Oracle, which is nice. Oh, we know they have the Flicker Wisp, that's right. So we'll let that go, and then we just get the Dismember. And we knew that they were drawing that because they put it back on top. So Dismember's a really good pickup here. We'll tap like that. And it doesn't matter if we tap blue or green. They have no cards in hand. And there you go. So definitely could have played that a little tighter, but in the end it worked out. All right, match 2 on the draw, and we're going to keep this hand. We have turn 2 Oracle with Flare back up, redraw with Quantum, some Harbinger Cheese, and if they're a combo deck, we have Force. No hand disruption is really nice. Draw another Flare. Not the worst, but we definitely want to hit land drop, so hopefully that happens. Oh, looks like we're up against Energy or Storm. So hopefully this is a Ruby Medallion. Ren's Resolve. Finds Impulse and another Impulse. Okay. So this can be a close matchup, depending on who draws what. I'd rather it be Storm than Energy, though, I think. Play Oracle. Oh, Hedge Maze. Make a land drop. Do we want another Oracle? We're going to go Beseiju. Nah. We want, like, other stuff. So this is good because now we have Flare up, we have Force up, but we're not going to counter these Impulse effects. And this is why Storm is so good, because they don't have to just slam something down. Desperate Ritual. So it looks like they want to play both of these. Medallion. So we're going to force this, pitching Harbinger. And we're going to force and not flare because flare can counter anything. They play the scheme. There's a Ral. So now next turn they can go Ritual Ral. But we're probably just going to counter the Ritual if they don't make the land drop. Or even if they do make the land drop, we find Breeding Pool. So let's start with Quantum Riddler. Find a Sync. We'll shock that in. Warp goes away. So we have Flare up. We have Boseiju up, but they're just going to cast a Ral. And we're going to counter that. Ice Fang. So we could hardcast this, but I think I want to get this out for Flare and redraw. There's a fetch land we can surveil with, and now we can just hardcast if they do something. Reckless Impulse. They find another Ral and a land. That's really good for them. Firebrain Scheme. Looting and Resolve. Oh, I like that they're running Looting. So they let us surveil, which is nice. Edge Maze. Quantum number 2. Do we need another Quantum? I'll say yes. I think that's fine. Maybe we want more like counters or something, but maybe we want just like rituals. But I mean, Quantum's going to find it for us. So let's warp this. I kind of want to just be able to hardcast this. Another Oracle. Okay, never mind. Cast Oracle. We could always find the Flux. Another one. So we'll play this out. Play another Ice Fang. Another Quantum. Okay. So no luck with the rituals. And we are tapped out of Sync, but we can still flare something. Hopefully they don't have double cost reducer. All right, there's Ral. We have to counter this. Rends Resolve. Finds double Ritual. Subtlety's pretty big. Let's lead off on a Warp Riddler. Draw the Essence Flux. Okay, that's actually huge. So we could play out Sync as a land, flux this and draw 2, or do we want to keep this open? Because this can counter a Ruby Medallion, or at least bounce it. I kind of like this Sync. Let's attack. I think I am going to keep this Sync open. I think it's better than like a random card, even though we would draw 2. Another one. All right, so now we have Pressure. This is a 3-turn clock. Not the most exciting. Another Ral. It sucks that we tapped out a Subtlety. So we'll pitch Flux. This does draw us 2 anyway, so it's not the biggest deal. You could always bounce this, but then they replay it. They put it on top. This is nice because it stops all their rituals, so everything in exile is like worthless. All right, they go Ritual, Ritual. They just want to put them in the yard. They might have something, but... All right, so they just cast the rituals to put them in the yard. Ral's on top. We draw 2 cards. So we can sync the Ral. Let's attack. And by also doing this, if they do Ral and they lose a coin flip, then they're screwed. So let's Warp Riddler. We draw an Endurance. Oof, okay. That's pretty good. The downside is if we sync this and they recast it, if they have a land and they just kind of pop off here, I'm going to let this one go. And then I'm going to see what they do here. Ritual. This could be wrong. Pass in Flames. Okay. So now with Pass in Flames on this deck, we're just going to cast Endurance, and we win. Cool. So that ended up working out. We could have cast Sync on the Ral. They'd have to recast it, but then if they play a land and they go Ritual, Ritual, then we just lose. So we didn't have a blue card to pitch or a green card, so I'm glad that worked out. All right, so against Ruby Storm, don't need the Harbinger. Let's think about what we do want. We definitely want the Endurance. Definitely want the Force and Negation. It's tough because they have a little bit of everything. So Dismember's good against Ral. Force is good against Ruby Medallion. Subtlety is good against Ral. I think the Riddler plan is a little slow, so I don't mind cutting some of that. So let's bring this in. But then you got to think, Consign to Memory stops Storm triggers. Stern Scolding stops Ral. I think I'd rather have like a Stern Scolding over the 3rd Subtlety. Maybe Flux isn't even like 2 Stern Scolding, and maybe Consign to Memory stops Ruby Medallion as well. So let's actually go down 2-2, and then we'll bring in 2 Consign. Just a little bit more interaction and less like late game card draw potential. All right, game 2 on the draw. I'm going to throw this hand back. We don't have any early interaction. The only green card we have to pitch is Birthing Ritual, so that's awkward. Subtlety pitches a little bit too. I think we can do better with the 6. This is a 1-lander, but we have a little bit of everything, so we're going to put back Oculus. You'd never go to 5 on this. Even on 7, this could be potentially good, but we're just going to play a land pass. Hopefully make our land drops, and we can just... Oh, nice, okay. So this can get a Breeding Pool, and then we can Stern Scolding Ral or Consign the Ruby. They surveil. Land to the yard. Impulse. Okay. Double Pass in Flames. That's really unlucky for them. Because now we get to surveil. Looking for land drops. Ice Fang. I'm going to say no. Fetch land? Boseiju. So it sucks that this is just a single blue open. Luckily, they just hit 2 Pass in Flames and can't do anything with them. No plays. Okay. Oh, they fetch. Plays on the 2nd main. Surveil. They keep it on top. Into Metamorphose. Okay. Get the redraw. Oh, they want this now. Okay. And they find Ral and Impulse. Okay. So if they don't have a 4th land, they can only choose 1. We draw the Breeding Pool, which is nice, so we can shock this in. We could Oracle here, holding up one of our 3 interaction spells, but I'm just going to pass. I want to hold open like all of this. All right, there's Ral. So easy Stern Scolding. And they did find the 4th land, so they do get to do 2 things. Finds Ritual land. We find Endurance. So we're going to play out Beseiju, and we'll play out Quarreling Oracle. We find another Quarreling Oracle. We're not going to do anything else. So we have Pitch Endurance here if we need. Consign a memory for Ruby Medallion. Dismember for Ral. They play the land. They're going to Ritual again. Manamorphose. They're playing like they have a Piff, but it would have to be the 3rd one. And they would have had to find all 3 in the top, like, 3rd of their deck. Wow. So let's see. They can go Ritual. They can go Manamorphose, Ritual. Damn, how much do we care about this? They cycle, or they can go Ritual, Manamorphose. They get 2 more card draws with this. I think I'm going to let this go, actually. There's Ritual. Another Ritual. All right, so with the first Manamorphose on the stack, because they played a Ritual from hand, we're just going to Endurance them now. So it gets rid of their Pass in Flame, so they can't flash it back. And they can't do all their other things. They would have been able to do a few more things. Oh, they do have instant speed Manamorphose. That's fair. Okay, so they get the double Manamorphose out, but they can't Impulse. Oh, as much as I want to consign this trigger, I'm going to let this go. So what we should have done was hit that Endurance after they cast the Ritual. So that was my mistake. They're casting these. They have no cost reducer yet, but we definitely let them have way more than we should have. I mean, they're still popping off. They might have Grape Shot. If they do, we're just going to consign it. Okay. Wish for 2 mana. Yeah, we definitely gave them an out that they definitely shouldn't have had. Grape Shot. Gonna consign that trigger. All right, so we're gonna have to hit big here. We both have 2 cards in hand. We have an active Birthing Ritual soon, but we're out of gas now. Oh, Flare is actually fantastic. So I'll play Birthing Ritual. But it's awkward because do we want to sack this? Hopefully we hit like a Ice Fang or something. So this triggers, we find an Oculus or an Endurance. So Endurance clears their graveyard in case they run into another Piff. We can't hard cast Flare here. I think we're going to take the Oculus, and then worst case scenario, we'll Flare. Because they're already down 2 Pass in Flames, and we bottomed another one. So the chances of them hitting it, oh, we find Quantum. Again, we're really hoping not to have to hit this, but okay. So even though we messed that up a little bit, we still got there. Match 3 on the play, and we're definitely going to keep this hand. Have Oracles for Rituals and Flares. We get the Surveil turn 1, have Island and Oracle turn 2, hold up Flare. Oh, we're actually on the draw. Okay. Less fun, especially if this is Prowess. Oh, it's Prowess, okay. All the fun comes to an end, unfortunately. Our percentage against this deck is like 35% or something, especially being on the draw. Oculus, not really what we want. So the only way we can win is if they really stumble and have a slow start. But we definitely need to be on the play for games 1 and 3. Hopefully they don't go Steel Cutter. Okay, Preordain, DRC. All right, not the most crazy start, so that's nice. Gonna get a Hedge Maze here. Subtlety to the graveyard. We need lands. Another Flare. Not really what we want right now. So we'll get an Oracle for chumping. They're very happy to see this. They paused and oof, okay. Essence Flux. So we're gonna Flare a Expressive Iteration. They make a land drop, so they don't have that. Quarry Steel Cutter. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to Flare that. So we're not gonna have any chump blockers. And then this is gonna be a 3-drop, 3 power. There's Preordain. They top, hit us for 4, down to 12. At least they don't have Delirium, that's nice. But we like 100% need to hit a land here. They have Mutagenic, they do. Still no Delirium. We hit Endurance, okay. No land, which sucks, so we're gonna have to Oracle. We're like 100% dead here, but we'll play it out. There's a tap land. So we have Flare for a counter, we have Pitch Endurance for this. What sucks is that we have to Pitch Ritual. Iteration number 2. All right, so they cast Iteration. Unfortunately, we have to Flare this as well. And then we're gonna have to Endurance them. And then we can cast Oculus and try to stabilize. All right, they move to combat. Evoke Endurance, target them. So we should just be taking 3 here. They have 2 cards in hand, so they could just pump this up and we die. I think just a Bolt kills us, right? Lightning Bolt? All right. So this is definitely the hardest matchup, and it's a very popular one right now. So we have the Stern Scoldings, we have the Endurance, and we have the Force of Negation. So Harbinger comes out. We have Dismember main as well. I think the Quantum Riddler plan is, again, a little slow. Not the most exciting. Subtlety is important. We're going to bring all of this in. If we can Flux Quantum, it makes a good blocker. We need 2 more cuts. I think drawing an Oculus would be terrible. Just a little slow. We'll just go down to 2 Flux and try that. All right, game 2, and this is tough. I think we're going to keep this. The awkwardness is I really don't want to shock this in. So I think we're just going to play this tapped and pass. I know it's like a potential untapped land, but I don't want to take 3 life. This is going to come into play tapped, and then we can hold open Stern Scolding or just Dismember. Because if we bolt this in just for Dismember or Stern Scolding, then we just go down to 14. Go down to 19. This is like best case scenario, I think. Another Stern Scolding. So we'll play this, looking for lands. Ice Fang to the graveyard. And then we are going to pass. I'm not going to Dismember now. I really want to either Dismember after the fact, or what are we countering here? Like, I'd rather counter this Swift Spear here. Bobble. Because Dismember is always going to be good. They bubble us. It doesn't look like they have a second land drop. Get in for 2. We also are missing our land drop. Probably going to have to Quantum to try to find it. High roll. Or we could just take a turn and Dismember. So there's a lot of plays here. We can Coiling Oracle, holding up Flare, which I think is reasonable. We could Riddler, try to hit a land and hold up these 2. Oracle could also do that. I think Oracle's the best play because it's a blocker and it could find us a land. So either which way, we're looking for a land here. And we find it. Look to pass. So now we have Flare, Stern Scolding, Dismember. This will go get a Harbinger. Lava Dart. Pretty annoying. Because they already played the land, we're just going to Dismember this now. And because they already cast Lava Dart, they would have played a creature if they had a second one. Spell Pierce. Alright, so what's funny about this is we actually get to flare the Spell Pierce, and the Lava Dart was already going to kill it, so that's just like a win-win for us. That worked out really well, actually. We find another Flare. Warp Quantum. Find Subtlety. Not going to be good enough. They have 5 cards in hand, and they're all spells because they're barely making their land drops. So we're hoping they just play like a Slick Shot or something. Koi Steel Cutter. We're going to have to force this. I am pitching Subtlety just because I'm going to value the Flare if we draw a creature. Oof, just like an uncastable creature. We also have Hardcast Flare up now. That feels bad. They do make a land drop. They bin the land. Another one. Hardcast Flare. They have a lot of good spells in hand. They just can't double spell. We're not letting them. Alright, so we draw Flux. We're not drawing very well. Like, Endurance is great if we had the double green, I guess, but Flux isn't very good. They plot Slick Shot into DRC. We have to let this go just because they have this Slick Shot. If we draw the green, draw blue. Oh man. Alright. Yeah, if we would have drawn a green source there, that would have been just like game over because we could flash that in, block here, get rid of their graveyard. They get in for 3. Now I just want any land to cast Riddler. Force would be the best. I'll take it. We're just casting Riddler here? They could have Dispute. I'm gonna pass. They bolt us. I mean, we can't do anything against the burn, so it's just like, it is what it is. They've been in Unholy Heat. That's another spell they could have. Oh my god, second Lightning Bolt. And you guys can see why this matchup is extremely one-sided. Like, they haven't done barely anything. And we're just like struggling to survive here. 2 mana. Flick Shot. They have Lava Dart in the yard. Oh, you know what? We should have cast Endurance before this resolved. It's fine. Because now they get to do this. So we're going to cast Endurance. They're going to Lava Dart us. Down to 2. We should still survive. Let's see if they see this. They should just Lava Dart us. But we should have done it in response to this, so that way this doesn't get pumped. There's the Lava Dart. Are we just dead? We're not just dead. So they Surveil. The last card was Heat too, so if we would have cast Riddler, we just die on the spot. So what's funny about this is... Actually, no, we don't care about this because this is just going to deal 2 damage. So we'll block here, and then we will Essence Flux, target them, go to 1. So we're not dead. They have 0 cards in hand. Anything kills us. We draw Subtlety. Hardcast Riddler. Draw Breeding Pool. So we're not dead, but literally 95% of their deck just kills us. Any non-land kills us. Oh, they draw? They must have drawn a land. They draw it? Tap land, okay. Still not dead. Dismember. Literally the worst draw possible. So we're going to redraw with Ice Fang. Subtlety. We're going to attack with both. Put them down to 5. This is like the deciding factor here. Do they top deck it? Oof, okay. Koi Steel Cutter. Really wish they hit a creature there. That's like probably one of their best draws, short of like a burn spell. Do they have something to trigger it? Ugh, they do. All right, so we just lose to that then. We lose to exactly Koi Steel Cutter. Again, we still had to attack. Like, we need to present a clock because we die to any top deck. That's just really unfortunate though. So we flash in Subtlety. They have Xaxes. Yeah, damn. Match 4 on the draw again. I think we've been on the draw all 4 times. At least 3. But obviously being on the play with this deck is fantastic. We do have the Surveil in turn 1 and to turn 2 Oracle. Maybe hold up Ice Fang. They just go Misty Go. If this is a mirror match, I'm going to lose it. Sink into Stupor. Quantum, keep on top. We have the Essence Flux, so maybe we get to do the thing. No mirror, no mirror. No. Hopefully this is just Neobrand, honestly. It is Neobrand, okay. So we have Subtlety for Rider, if they have that on turn 2. Tap land. Alright, so if they have it, they're not going for it. Consign to memory. That would stop the subtlety. Draw the Quantum Riddler. So now I kind of wish I didn't keep this. I'd rather have like more interaction. I'm just gonna pass. I don't want them to know what we're up to. They're paying costs. Oh, cycling, okay. They get another hedge maze. They surveil. Land to the yard. So it looks like they don't have it. They're digging for something. We're gonna get a forest here. Just in case we draw Harbinger. Play Ice Fang. They cast Planar in response. That's fair, we're like quote unquote tapped out. So if we can draw Force the Negation, if we draw an additional Subtlety, Flare is good. Any type of counter interaction. Alright, that lands. Draw Dismember. Alright, well that's not very good. There's Ritual. We're gonna bolt this in. Attack. So we can Birthing Ritual to get rid of Ice Fang to try to find Harbinger or like a threat. I think that's fine. We can hold open Essence Flux, Dismember. We have Subtlety. We find Oculus, Ice Fang number 2. So we'll sack here. I mean, do we just want the Ice Fang for the extra card draw? I think we do. I think this matchup's about interaction, and I'd rather have drawing everything. All right, we just draw an Oculus, which again is terrible. So if we would have hit Harbinger, we'd have been happy. Oh, Preordain. Okay. So at least we have something to pitch. Subtlety too. They have one top, one bottom. If anything, we can Essence Flux, Coatl, looking for something. Yeah, I really wish we had like a Flare or a Force. I'd feel a lot better about this. All right, they do nothing. I do think I am going to Flux this and just cycle this. We could save this for Riddler, but we're just missing our land drops, and I want to utilize our mana. Another Subtlety is actually pretty big. Another Ritual. Man, how can we not find lands? I'm going to cast Oracle. Land, please. All right, let's cast second Ritual. Get the island. Cast second Ritual. And now we just have double Subtlety for whatever. And we get double Ritual triggers here. So first one, we find Harbinger. Beautiful. So what's that here? Get the Harbinger. So now they're locked out of green. We find another Oracle. Sack here, get the Oracle. We find a Flare too. Okay. Now I'm feeling better. They have no green mana. They play an island. We have double Subtlety. We have Flare. Pretty insulated here. And there you go. It's always nice when the combo deck doesn't get to do the thing. So we are up against Neobrand. This is a pretty good matchup for us. Disputes, Force. Don't need the Endurance. Definitely want the Disputes, Force, and Harbinger. Dismember, they can pivot. So we're going to keep in Dismember for like creature plans. I think this plan gets a lot worse just because, again, we're trying to be the control deck. So we definitely want some consigned memory insurance as well. I don't mind boarding out the Riddlers and Essence Flux when we're so hyper-focused on interaction. This is more for like a grindy plan. We'll try this. All right, game 2. We do have the Force, but if they have a counter, then we just straight up lose. They did go to 6. Do we want to go to 6 also? It's like a lot of land. I mean, we have 4 lands, Force, Pitch, Spell, Oracle on turn 2. And there's just like not much else. I'm gonna mulligan this. All right, this hand also sucks. We have double consigned to memory, Oculus in hand, Dismember's medium. Let's go one more, and only one land. Ugh, all right, we'll keep. This is pretty terrible. We'll try this. I'm gonna keep at least 2 lands, Dismember just in case they try to do something. But this is pretty brutal. The only way we get out of this is if we draw like Subtlety and they go for it. Breeding Pool. Blue to Delta. Safe for dead. They do get the Forest. Allosaurus Rider. Pitching double Hooting Mandrills. So I think Dismember's a good keep in there. Interesting. So we're going to get the Breeding Pool, and they tried to just play a creature out without having the thing, so maybe they're trying to be on the beatdown plan, because they pitched 2 Mandrills. Yeah, okay. So that's why it's important to identify kind of what they're doing, and because they pitched this, and they passed without like evolving this, they're trying to get this down ahead of schedule, hoping to top deck something. So, all right, welcome to the final match. On the draw again, and this hand is kind of rough. We don't have any early interaction. We just have pitch spells with nothing to pitch to. I'm gonna mulligan this. This is a 1-lander, and it's not even a Surveil land either. Let's go to 5. Jeez, okay. Let's keep, put back a Quantum and Coiling Oracle. Quantum should help us get those cards back, especially if we have to force something. Really unfortunate hands though. Oh no. So hopefully this is, I guess, Storm again? Why is there so much Storm? Harbinger, Surveil, keep a 3rd land. Maybe we can cheese them. We are going to have to force pitching Quantum, though. Oh, they get the Mountain. Force, pitch Quantum. Misty, go get a Forced. Find Ice Fang. So it looks like they were trying to turn to us. They do have the Row. They get another Mountain. All right, let's see if we're dead. Range Resolve. We'll come back if they kill us. All right, they have Pass and Flame, so they just get to do this all over again. Wow, they would have turned 2'd us, so good for them. That is the way of combo decks. So we're up against Storm again, which is interesting. I feel like we don't see Storm too often. We can take out the Harbinger like we did before. Take out Quantum and Flux. Again, a little too slow. We want all of this. Stern Scolding, I think, is important. Consign to memory. 2 Consign, 2 Flux. I think I'm actually going to bring in, I think we did 3 Consign last time. 3 Consign. Honestly, I'm taking out all the Flux. And then, again, I think this is more of a controlling matchup, so I don't mind cutting the Riddlers, which is more for grinding. We're just going to go 8 out, 8 in, and try that. All right, on the play. I think that's like the only way we can win is by doing that. And we do get to keep a 7, which is nice. Keep. We have Endurance. We have Turn Scolding. We don't have anything for Ruby Medallion, unfortunately, but hopefully we can surveil it. And I feel like we've had Oculus in hand like every 7. This can be fine, but definitely not in this matchup, and usually not in most matchups, unless you know you're going to grind. All right, we're just going to lead up on the Misty. We're going to look to surveil either a Flare or a Consigned Memory to the top. They start with an Elegant Parlor, and they do keep it on top. We will surveil. Wow, we find the Consign. Excellent. So I'm going to shock this in just in case they try to do something like Ritual something and like Ritual again or something like that. Because if they go like double Ritual, we can't do anything, and then they could maybe just in a crazy world, but because imagine if they just go like double Ritual and then we can only counter one thing. Again, the chances of them doing that are very low, but 2 life isn't going to hurt us. They surveil. Piff to the yard. Firebrained. There's a Ruby. Would love to draw land here. Kind of funny they don't have any mountains and Harbinger would hose them. Oh, we do draw it. Shock this in. I think we have to cast Oracle. We have Pitch if we need it, but oh god. We have not been drawing well. Just drawing all the Oculus. So they should go land Ruby? Okay, they just go Ruby. So we'll counter that. Can they only play 1? Oh, they can only play 1 with that. Okay, so they missed their land drop. Man, I wish we had Harbinger. That would be hilarious. Dude, come on. What is this? We'll cast Oracle. We've drawn 3 Oculus. That's like super unlucky. 3 in the top 12. A third of our draws have just been Oculus. Ice Fang, no land. So really hoping they have Ral and not another Ruby Medallion. But if we lose because of this, like, it is what it is. All right, they go Desperate Ritual, Manamorphose, wait for Flage? That's like a best case scenario, I guess, because they don't have mana to bring it back. Orm's Chant. All right, with that on the stack, I'm going to cast Endurance. It's going to put Endurance in the yard, which is more stuff for Flare. I don't know if this is going to do anything, but we'll see. Because they have to have, like, another... Okay, Ruby Medallion. So we played it safe by pitching. Maybe we didn't have to. Because if they just pop off that turn, we're screwed. All right, we draw Ice Fang. Dismember. Yeah, now we probably just lose because we had to pitch the Endurance there to play it safe. Because if they had 2 mana floating, so if they go like Ritual, Ritual, they would have had to have a lot. So maybe that was another Orm's Chant. Double Ren's Resolve. Manamorphose. So we've drawn poorly, they've drawn very well, and I mean, games are going to go like that sometimes. All right, it looks like they have everything. Let's see if they flip this, find Piff, double lands. We could get lucky and they don't flip it. Ren's Resolve number 2. They find Wish. 3rd, Reckless Impulse. They flip Ral. Yeah, okay. All right, so that was Simic Ritual trying the Essence Flux and Quantum Riddler package. So that league started off pretty well, but unfortunately we got paired against Prowess, which it's a very popular deck. We're bound to play it at least once. Definitely a tough matchup, as you guys saw. And then Ruby Storm, they just kind of had the nuts both games. Nothing you can really do about it. But overall, the deck still feels really good. As for Essence Flux and Quantum Riddler, I could take it or leave it. I think having some amount of Riddler could be really good. Having both of these is maybe not necessary. They weren't like terrible during this league, but they weren't complete all-stars either. So then the question is, would we rather have this package or do we want the Shardless Agents? Again, like we talked about in the intro, getting rid of Shardless Agent allows us to play more 1-mana interaction without having to cascade into it. But I'll be honest, I did miss Shardless Agent. I'm a huge Shardless Agent fan, so I'm a little biased about it. We didn't get to Essence Flux any Manifest tokens either, but the core of the deck just kind of did its thing, and that's how we won. But that'll do it for me. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see more ritual content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Peace.